A-Day is this weekend for Crimson Tide football, and all eyes will be on Bryant-Denny Stadium on Saturday for all the festivities as we have returned from the break on In My Own Words. It's been a very interesting last couple of days. As yours truly, I've been running back and forth. And before we get into the bombshell of news concerning Alabama quarterback Jalen Hurts, a little bit of information about the program as Nick Saban and the Alabama Crimson Tide have finalized a home-and-home series with the Notre Dame Fighting Irish for the 2028 and 2029 seasons. On September 2nd of 2028, Alabama will travel to South Bend, Indiana to take on the Irish. On September 1st, 2029, the following year, Notre Dame will travel to Tuscaloosa, Bryant-Denny Stadium, to face the Crimson Tide. So Nick Saban and Alabama finalizing that home-and-home series with the Fighting Irish. For many people, you understand the notion of if you say something but you don't want it reported in the media, you don't want it put down to pencil and paper, you don't want yourself quoted, you simply state, hey, this is off the record, and that doesn't happen. In the case of Averion Hurts Sr., Jalen Hurts' father, that did not carry over too well. There was an article today reported via Matt Hayes of Bleacher Report on Averion Hurts Sr. talking about, and in quote saying, telling his son, Jalen bleeped up when he allowed himself to be put in the situation of being in a quarterback race. And the situation in question, we all remember the national championship game this past January between Alabama and Georgia. Hurts struggled a bit, 3 of 8 passing in the first half. Offense not able to really move the football the way it would like to. Nick Saban choosing to go with Tua Tagovailoa in the second half. The guy goes 14 of 24 passing for 166 yards, 3 touchdowns. The rest is history. Alabama wins its 17th national championship in school history and the 5th under head coach Nick Saban, with Tua Tagovailoa, the Hawaiian Punch, double T in the morning, calling the show in the second half. Hurts also goes on to say, if Jalen, that being his son, is not the starting quarterback in the fall for Alabama, then he could be the biggest free agent in college football history. These are things you just do not say. And by not telling people this is not on the record, that you can't expect for people not to report. And I understand a lot of fans, average, ordinary, everyday people are going around saying, is this true? Is the media lying on Averion Hurts? Are they lying on Jalen's dad? Are they just putting things in his mouth to say, just to stir the pot, just to get people riled up? I'm not on the scene where Jalen Hurts' dad, where Averion Hurts is. I was not on the scene where the Bleacher Report story per Matt Hayes was given out, or other outlets like 247 or SEC Country or the host of other media pundits that saw the story and wanted to piggyback, do their own version of the story. Was not there. But something I do know as a professional journalist in this field, especially getting my degree from the University of Alabama in journalism, is that if a subject does not want to have his words or their words taken out of context, their words twisted, their words misconstrued, then you purely say, or you completely come out and say, look, this is off the record. I want to say this. I want to state this. I want to talk about A, B, C, D, but this is off the record. I don't want this getting back to Nick Saban. I don't want this getting back to the team. I don't want this getting back to anybody of importance so that they can call me as a distraction. Right now, in the story via Bleacher Report, Averion Hurts is quoted saying, Jalen, you bleeped up by allowing this situation to happen, and now you have to dig yourself out of it. And then he comes behind that saying, being quoted here, if Jalen is not the starting quarterback next season, but he could be the biggest free agent in college football. I understand he didn't come out and verbatimly state that he's thinking about transferring his son out of the university, but when you use the statement or phrase, if he's not the guy, if he's not the man, if he's not numero uno, number one, Jalen has played quarterback throughout his entire life. His father envisions him playing quarterback at the next level. I'm pretty sure Jalen envisions himself playing quarterback at the next level. And he's got some potential. Yes, there are flaws, some flaws in his game that he's currently working on. But to say he does not have potential to be something at the next level is ludicrous. But at the end of the day, when a parent has come out and said what Averion Hurts Sr. is being reported to have stated on the record, and for the first time, when you put this into context, for the first time under Nick Saban at Alabama, a parent has come out and said something like this. Normally, parents reserved, buttoned up, keeping things on the DL. They'll tell reporters, hey, I'll say this, but it's off the record. Don't put my name in that. Don't quote me on this. Do not misconstrue, use my words against the point I'm trying to make. This is off the record. I don't want this getting back to Saban. I don't want this getting back to the team. I don't want this in any form of the imagination putting me as a distraction. Parents very buttoned up, reserved about this, especially when they have a child or a particular child that is fighting for a position of value, a position of importance at the University of Alabama, the mecca of college football. But with Hurts coming out stating this, being reported to have stated this, once again, I wasn't there when the story was being put out. A lot of people are wondering, is the media lying on Averion Hurts? Did he really say this? Did he really put this out there? Is this just clickbaity material because there's not much going on in the offseason? Averion Hurts Jr., brother of Jalen Hurts, has come out and said, hey, don't believe all that you hear. This is clickbait, freaking internet doing stupid stuff. You'd be a fool to believe what you're hearing. Mac Wilson coming out, I believe in all of our quarterbacks. But with Averion Hurts Sr. being quoted in saying this, one of two things happens. Either A, Jalen Hurts transfers out, goes to a different program, or if he's not the starter. Or B, we could possibly see a LeVar Ball coming up here in college football where Averion pulls Jalen out and starts to work on his game going toward the NFL, getting him ready for the NFL early. Could happen. Crazy. Could happen. Me personally, I got the opportunity to attend a camp over the weekend in Montgomery. Jefferson Davis High School. Blake Sims, Christian Jones, Courtney Upshaw were all at this camp. 3 former Alabama players, 3 guys that came through the Nick Saban regime, Nick Saban process, 3 guys that were a part of championship teams, 3 guys that know how to win and what it takes to win. I was at the camp as they were giving back to the youth there, and I spent quite a bit of one-on-one time with Blake Sims and Courtney Upshaw. Starting this thing off with Blake, I threw him the question about Jalen and Tua. What do you think about this quarterback situation? If you were Nick Saban, Blake Sims, what would you do? How do you handle this? What sort of advice have you been giving to both of these guys and staying focused and battling and not paying no mind to the hoopla, the nonsense on social media? Check out the audio I got from Blake Sims. Give us a listen. This is Blake Sims talking about the quarterback situation.
I remember in 2014, a lot of people doubted you out as a starter at Alabama, but you persevered and you was that dude. You came out there and did your thing. What advice do you give Jalen and Tua when, people are talking about, well, this guy's better, that guy's better, but seeing what you went through, what advice do you give those guys?
Man, I tell them stay off the social media. Stay off that social media, man. Don't even get on it. Because everybody that you need to get in contact with you is at the complex, is at the field house. You can call your mom, you can call your dad, you know what I'm saying? Stay off that social media, stay focused into the program.
Nick Saban's up against you trying to pick between both guys, but you play under Coach Saban. How do you think he plays this with Jalen and Tua? Both guys do things well. One can run well, both can throw well. If you were Nick Saban, how would you play this?
Shoot, man, take it back to old school. You know what I'm saying? Take it back to the old school, put them out there, put 11 on both sides of the ball and see who compete. Let them compete and see who the best is.
Some strong audio there from Sims. Both guys eating together, fellowshipping together, in tune with each other. When your quarterbacks are in tune with each other, you got a focused team. Then he goes into not paying any attention. Don't pay that social media stuff no mind. You focus on the Bama way, which is pushing to win championships. I remember talking to a close source with the team last year, and it was just crazy how they told me it's funny that you've got two quarterbacks. Jalen Hurts, 4-star when he came in 2016. Tua Tagovailoa, 5-star when he came in this past season. You would think there would be a lot of hatred, animosity, negativity, friction, but there's not. There's not. Both guys love each other. Both guys bounce off each other. They balance each other out. Both guys highly respect each other. I mean, you saw Tua in full support of Jalen after the national championship game, where a lot of stuff that came out about, Jalen needs to transfer, Jalen lost us 2 title games, this, that, and the other. I mean, you saw Jalen full support of Tua when Nick Saban decided to make the switch in the title game, going to Tua in the second half. I mean, you saw Jalen in an interview with Marty Smith of ESPN saying, hey, Tua balled out. I knew he could do it. Did well for his team tonight. Took care of his team tonight. These are things that the ultimate team players say about each other. These are things that the ultimate team players say about each other. Just what Blake Sims said really stood out to me, because I remember when Blake Sims was written off in 2014. The notion was Coker. Blake Sims says, hey, this is my job. Went out there, took it, got the team to the college football playoff. Single season passing record holder at 3,487 yards that year in 2014. Nick Saban's in a tough situation. No question about it. In a tough situation. And for Jalen Hurts, it's gotten to a point where he can't even be in class without stuff like this coming up. He can't even be in class without this report, this conversation being brought up. Once again, going back to a close source I talked with, I was told, this whole thing is being blown out of proportion. It's all negative. It's all the media reaching for stuff. Jalen's focused on the team. Jalen's focused on a good performance on A-Day. Jalen's focused on improving, getting better, trying as hard as he can to be a better passer. All of this is just negativity, and it's pointless. That's what a close source told me in terms of Jalen Hurts. Now, after the A-Day game, what takes place remains to be seen. it would have been much better for something like this to come out after the A-Day or to come out during the summer, because then stuff has died down, and more times than not, you see more transfer news or news of players transferring come out during the summer. But for this to come out the week of A-Day, couple of days before the game, and your son is trying to focus on winning this job, hanging on to being the starting quarterback and proving that he can throw, he can be the guy. Horrific timing in my regard. And for all this news about, this is Jalen, could this be that Jalen's not a team player? Go on with that. Jalen is the ultimate team player. You saw it in the national championship game. You got professional athletes that make generational money. They get paid millions of dollars. Players like Dez Bryant, when they don't get their way, they sulk, they pout, they put a towel over their head, they point the finger, they blame other people. Jalen Hurts did not do that. Sat there, prayed with Tua, high-fived Tua, dapped up Tua, congratulated Tua, did everything he possibly could on the sideline to help Tua. I never played a down of D1 ball, and I'll be honest with you. I never played down of D1 ball. I played 3 years of high school ball. And I played with some pretty wild dudes out there. And if you sucked, they'd tell you. They let you know. They blast you out. Boy, you suck. You ain't nothing. Trash. They let you know. They would use some words that, quite frankly, I can't use on this show. And the team would know it. The coaching staff would know it. Folks around the school would know it. Your own parents would probably know it. And for God's sake, don't let the folks have a camera around them when they saying it, because folks around the internet would know it. Because I had some guys I played with that were not ashamed to come out and say, you suck, you just suck. That's not the case with Jalen and Tua. With all the commotion going around them, somehow they stand together, support each other. Very strong quarterback room. Probably the best quarterback room as a whole Nick Saban's ever had. He's got a tough decision to make. Jalen Hurts, the ultimate team player. This is not coming from him. It's coming from his pops. Whether it was true what he said, we're trying to fluff stuff up, you read the article in Bleacher Report, they're quotation marks. And in my knowledge and being a journalist, when there are quotation marks, somebody is being quoted on the record as to say something. And if this is true what's being said, two things happen. Either Jalen Hurts leaves after the A-Day game or sometime during the summer, or you pull the LeVar Ball move and you get him prepared for the NFL early on. Take another break here on In My Own Words, Touchdown Alabama Magazine, Stephen Smith. We go to the Ask Stephen segment. Dive into the mailbag. Your thoughts, your concerns, bring them to me. I'll touch them up on the other side of the break. We'll be right back. It's your boy, Stephen M. Smith, host of In My Own Words, the podcast. If you are a fan of this show, then I encourage you to subscribe to the Touchdown Alabama Magazine YouTube channel. Also follow the brand on Facebook, Twitter, and other forms of social media as we continue to bring you the best in Alabama football and Crimson Tide athletics.